Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want to talk a little bit about something very, very important. Let's say you're a criminal. You're somebody who is, well, a criminal mastermind and you don't want to get caught by anybody. You don't want the public to focus on you or anything that you do. But simultaneously, you want to stay under the radar, stay in the dark, and continue on with your plan without being detected by the public, or else there goes your head. Now, why did I bring this up? Simple. Because there are criminal masterminds out there who are doing exactly what I just said. And in order to make sure that the public do not pay attention to them, they have to make sure that they point finger at either a race or a group of people so the public can keep their eyes on them. Meanwhile, they are the real mastermind behind everything, puppeteering everything. And so, if you have X, I am very sure, not even very sure, I am 100% sure that you have come across a racist comment. Whether that's for you as a black person, or a Mexican, or a white person. It doesn't matter, or an Asian. It doesn't matter who you are. I guarantee you have come across somebody spewing some kind of nonsense about you and your race. Now, all I gotta say is there's no bad race or good race. That's not how humanity works. But what it is there's organized criminals and there's unorganized criminals. When it comes to black people, let me start off with black people because I've lived in America for the past 17 years. When it comes to black people, for some odd reason, we seem to be the forefront of the criminal enterprise. We are the leading head of criminals. Every time something stupid happens, a black person does something dumb, all of a sudden, the whole of black community gets involved in it. When a black person goes and kills another black person, well, the whole black people are responsible for it. And yeah, you go on X and you will see a bunch of racist comment about how black are the ones making sure that the community is unsafe, how black people are the one that nobody is safe on the road and nobody is that and nobody is this. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. As a black person, we need to take responsibility for our action. We need to sit back and ponder and think about the way we carry ourselves in this world. We are responsible for the negative comments out there. We, as black people, are responsible for everything that people say about us. Now, why do I say that? Look at the music industry. That's the number one reason why we are looked at like the way we do. You have YNs, as they call them. You have rappers who come up and they rap about nothing but gunning each other down on the road and how they smoke this person and smoke that person. And on top of that, they're encouraging other black people around them to follow with the same attitude, with the same ideology, that they should carry themselves in the hood like the way that they do. And if they do that, they just might get all this money and all this gun, and they might get respect on the road and have all these women following them. And so you have music executive, which I haven't gone to yet, but I will tell you this, the majority of music executive are white people. But let me finish with the black first and then I'll get to that. But you have music executive who are picking and choosing which song they want to promote and which song they do not want to promote. And here's another fun fact that you do not know about the music executive. The majority of the music executive own prison. So do you think it's a coincidence that the music that black people put out is directly toward the black community? And if they follow what these music is telling them to do, they end up in prison? Do you think that's a coincidence? When prisons are built, they need to be full. There's a reason why music like the rap industry like to push. Okay? But I can go on with the black, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next race. Next up on the line is the white people. White folks. Now, here in America, they like to pretend like they're the bastion of hope. From what I've seen on X, they seem to act like they do no wrong, that they are the best of the bunch. They are better than every other race out there. Look at the innovation, everything that they've invented. Look at how much they have made everybody's life easy. And don't get me wrong, I'll tell you as a white person, you guys have done a lot for society. You guys have made a lot of people's life easy, including mine. I've lived in Africa. I've seen the ugly side of life, and I've also seen the beauty of life. And I will give you guys the credit that you guys have done a lot in this world to make people's life easy. But that does not mean that you are perfect. Now, what crime have you guys done as white folks? Let's go ahead and start with money. Okay? Money laundering. Interest. Now, you may say to yourself, well, it's money laundering, right? Interest is an organized crime. Money laundering is an organized crime. The wars that you see out there, it wasn't started by black people. Don't get me wrong, there's wars in Africa and stuff like that. Us black people, we got our own problems over there. But I'm talking about the world. I'm talking about the Middle East especially. Those wars haven't been started by black people. So, and then let's talk about World War I. And what about World War II? And what about the 20-year wars in Afghanistan? What about the war in Ukraine? Or the one in Palestine? Any war in the Middle East. If you add up all these death toll, how much does it add up to? You guys probably haven't really thought about that, huh? Yeah. A lot of innocent people have died in that. I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. If you add up all the innocent people that have died from those wars, and you compare that to the amount of people that black people have killed, whether that's themselves or other race, the number is very, very far-fetched, isn't it? The number is different, isn't it? But you don't think about it that way. So, when it comes to organized crime, we look at it differently. When it comes to white people doing crime, you gotta understand that they are in control of the mainstream media. So when a white person goes and shoot up a school, he's mentally ill. He did this on his own. Oh, we as white folks, we condemn this. We would never do that. But when a black person does something like that, it must be all black. Right? Anyways, let's move on to the next race. Mexicans. Now, Mexicans, I got a lot of respect for Mexicans. They come from Mexico. They start working right away. They bunch together to try to make a living to improve their lives. And I got mad respect for that. And as a black people, I would say we should look at Mexicans and see the way that they're living their life, and we should follow their steps. Because they come from a hardship life, and then they come into America, and then they better their life. And then they try to make their life as easy as possible by working together. They have each other's back. And if black people, if we were to do something like that, we would not be in the position that we're in today. I'll say that, I'm gonna tell you that, that's a fact. We would not be in the position that we're in today if we had followed their footsteps. I mean, during the time of Martin Luther and all of these people like Malcolm X, what were they fighting for? Why? So that way Cardi B or Sexy Red can get on screen and shake their butt? Is that what they were fighting for? Or that the YNs out there with guns and stuff like that with switches on them can go and gun down anybody and everybody in their way? Is that what they were fighting for? No. But rather, we've completely forgotten about that. And now we're focused on protecting the bad bunch. And then the black people who have picked themselves up, we say, oh, you have abandoned your group. You have abandoned the black people. And so we police ourselves and we bring ourselves down. But for the Mexicans, like I said, they have each other's back. But that does not exclude the fact that they too can be criminals. They too can have a criminal enterprise that is either organized or unorganized. Now, we've heard of the MS-13. We've heard of all of these gang and all of these other stuff that do horrific things. Okay? That's here in America though. And if you go to Mexico, some of these people are literally kingpin. They are a drug lord and they will literally gun down innocent people. So now you start to see a pattern. That the only reason that one race will be put on top of the pedestal of criminal is because there's a certain group of criminals out there who do not want the light to be put on them. So what do they have to do? They have to make sure that a certain group of race is looked at as criminals. Meanwhile, the real criminals are not looked at as criminals. Interest. The real criminals are dealing in interest. Interest is pretty much like, it is designed to make sure that you are enslaved forever. That's what interest is all about. It's making the rich richer, and then you as a poor person, well, you gotta pick up all the little crumbs on the ground. And whatever crumbs you pick up, make sure you give a little bit of that crumbs to the rich person who already has the whole buffet. That's what interest is. That in of itself is criminal. Why do I say that? Because interest has the capacity to destroy an entire nation. Believe it or not. That's why Christianity and Islam forbid interest. But in Judaism, it's not forbidden. But the Jews understand the dangers of interest, and so they twisted the rule a little bit. You know what they say? That a Jew cannot put interest on another Jew. Rather, they can put interest on somebody who is not a Jew, because they understand the danger of interest. So in my opinion, interest is organized crime on a wide scale that has taken over the entire world. And now we are in a grasp of a few family out there who are dealing in interest. That's why you hear on the news or from the president that America is trillions of dollars in debt. But nobody seems to ask themselves, who are we in debt to? We're constantly printing out money. I mean, let's be honest. The person that we are in debt to has literally stole the idea of what it means to have money, and they have made it in a way where it only benefits them. They only print money from thin air. If I was given the power to print money from thin air, imagine the amount of stuff that I'm capable of doing. I just scratched the surface. The rabbit goes a lot deeper than what I've just talked about. But I wanted to go ahead and get you racist people out there to think. When you go ahead and talk about, oh, this race is so bad because, you know, they're from this side of the world and stuff like that, you got to think about yourself. Okay? You got to ask yourself, okay, what have we done? Whether you're black, Mexican, Asian, or anything like that. Now, I haven't gone to the Asian side because, well, the video would take forever. But, come on. They got criminal organization too and stuff like that. I don't know much about their criminal organization, so I'm not going to dive much into that. But the point is, every organization every race has a bad bunch. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Japanese. It does not matter. Okay? And so you have to ask yourself, who is putting us up against each other? Who is doing that? Who are we not looking at? And so before I end this video, I wanted to go ahead and tell you this. If you want to know who rules you, just think about the people that you cannot criticize. And that'll tell you exactly who is the mastermind behind every race fighting each other. And so with that being said, if you made it this far, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I normally don't do videos like this, but I just want to go ahead and, give my viewers a little bit of, of an idea of how dumb you could be if you choose to be racist. Later.